So I'm going to do a quick and dirty because people want updates. So here's the 3D view. Got my SD card. Got to clean it up. Let's see, this is sort of a jumble. I've just been tinkering around. I was actually trying something with the routing on in KiCAD, and that's why you end up with just weird things like that. I was playing around with the routing in here, and yeah, I've got to obviously tear that all off and do it over. But I was playing around with some key shortcuts and things like that in it to try to sort of get myself more familiar with it. Um, so we have our SD card. Um, some few things I'm going to change on this because I kind of sort of have to. If I'm going to pull SPI down to this, which I have, this particular SPI come down, vias jump over, come in, go to this connector, and I was running that also off the SD. That's not really going to fly because then the bus is tied up with whatever's going to be on that board, and yeah, it might cause some problems booting. So there's another SPI here, which is these 4 pins. Is it these 4 or these 4 or these 4? I think it's these 4 right here. Sort of get in here sort of bigger on this. We got a 3D view, and it's quite big, and I like it. Um, and I never used it in Altium or Eagle, but I find myself using it in KiCAD a lot, and I use it a few times in Altium, but didn't care for it. And I find myself liking it all of a sudden in this, so that's kind of interesting. But I need to move this. But I think it's this. I know it's one of. I think this is I was using this for something else. I need to move this. I think this is S clock. Um, and like Mozzie Mizo and not SS, I believe. So I need to move this whole bunch of nonsense out of the way, which this is the setup, and maybe move it over here because I've got more pins here that are unused. Unless these are the ADC pins that I was trying to keep free, which I have a sneaking suspicion now that I think about it that they are the ADC pins that I was trying to keep free. Yeah. So where is pin 1 on this? Um, yeah, I don't know where pin 1 is on this. Let's go back to the board. Yeah, pin 1. So these over here are the ADCs that I was keeping free. I was trying to keep these ADCs free because I wanted to think about doing something with these ADCs. Um, so that's why they're free and there's a shot out for them because I wanted to think about doing something. So I can't move this. I can possibly move it to 18 because it's just in code. Um, and yes, I can. So I'll just move 23 to 18. And that will give me my S clock, Mozzie or Mozzie, and my not SS. So I can move it there and problem solved. So I got to do that. Um, One of the things that I haven't really figured out because people have asked me about KiCAD. Um, so you want to move a part, you just push M on it and you can move it. Real easy. I really can't complain. So let's say I move that there. I move this ground symbol over here, and I move this. Can't really move the wire for some reason. I don't know why it doesn't move wires. So we'll just delete uh, the wires. And it does that funky thing there when uh, you know, this is not going to be neat. I have to sort of relay this whole thing out. So I don't want a field value. I want to move the part, the component. So we'll put the component there. We'll move this 3.3 volt there. That's good. We'll just, nope, yes, that's right. And then we will connect, oh, wrong one. We'll connect this to this and this over here to 18, and we'll delete the no connect symbol. And boom, we've moved this. And then for the moment, I'll just It has just that funky thing there. I'm not entirely sure what's up with that. So if I delete that, see how it just sort of like redraws that like really slowly? That's kind of annoying to me. That's one of my pet peeves with KiCAD. It says, well, why does it do that whole like redraw thing? Okay, so this is our uh, SPI on 30 through 33. And if I make another one over here, um, and I would just like on SD underscore SS on SD underscore Mozzie, SD underscore my, so on and so forth. So if I do that, okay, and we'll get rid of this, we'll get rid of this, and we'll get rid of this, and let it redraw into oblivion, and we want call this SS, and that's going to be an out, and we rotate that around. Master out, serial in, and this is also an out. Moz call SD. Remember, different net name. Mozzie, not SS. Jeez, man. SD. We don't want to have anything to do with the SS. And then we got. Wait, that's Mozzie. This is Mizo. Master out, serial in. This is actually an in. Well, no, actually, that's the out. It's the master out, and the microcontroller is the master. So we can go back and change that to an in. And the clock is actually a bidirectional. So we got, and I screwed the name up, but that's easy. See, in Eagle, that would actually cause you trouble. And this is one of the actually the nice things that I like about KiCAD while I'm here rambling away about it. I connected this Mozzie here. Let me just do this right quick. I can type. I really can. This Mozzie is actually now connected to this Mozzie. In Eagle, you delete that, and you gotta like delete half the friggin' net to fix it. Because it'll just keep it connected. It just I've run into like lots of problems with that. But if I do this, it's just done. And I need to rename this one as well because this is also SD, not SS. So there we are. So those are all SD. So now I come over here to the SD and I can say SD. And this is actually more difficult in Eagle than what I'm doing now. I'm just literally, I just rename this stuff and it just works. Whoopsie, it's not what I wanted to do. So, and I'm not really too good with the tool yet. I've gotten a lot better with this though. So I'm not really a KiCAD pro, if you will. So now all those are connected to all those, and there needs to be pull-ups and things like that. There's a little bit more to this, but right now I'm just sort of, and this is another one of my pet peeves with KiCAD is the reference designators that tie into it. So what happens is when I go over to the board, well, first we have to export a netlist. Okay, so we generate a netlist and we save it, and we come over to the board now, and we read the netlist. And I'm going to get a bunch of errors. Um, for the most part, everything's cool, but we get a bunch of errors. And that's because the names of these components are wrong. So see, I've got duplications of these plugs, and I have to sort of work that out. But I can just get rid of them, and all's well. But now these tracks, okay, uh, are really all wrong, and I think you can tell it to delete the tracks. But well, what have I done here? This is, I think I've done named them the same thing is what I've done. Have I done that on the chip side of things? I've done named them the same thing. I did. So there you go. You can do stuff like that. Master out in serial out. Woohoo, Mizo. All right. So yeah, aside from doing that, making that mistake, and then of course I have to go back over to the board and read the net list again and get these errors about this U3. I know what the U3 issue is. Um, the U3 issue is actually this, and that's because I cheated with a component a little bit on the footprint. But that's just easy because all I do is rename the nets on that. You see, there's no name on these nets. Like for instance, I do this. I want to rename the pad. I want to give it a net name because there's no net name. That's the problem. And the net name that I want to name it to is this right here because that's the net name. So plus 3v3, and there you have it. So now that's named, and this one, of course, would be. You notice that there's no uh, thermal isolation. It's not connected to the ground plane. Well, it's not like this. It's no thermal reliefs. So um, if I pick the pad and we call that ground, and see now it's connected, and that's the plus 15 volt, and that's the same thing. So that's how you how you fix this. How I have to fix it every time I import the netlist again because I'm not really too sure what I've done to make this upset. Uh, so now that would be happy if I did this. Um, it's going to have issues with this because these are improperly connected is the problem. So um, that why it deleted the wrong component, I don't know. Let's get rid of the marker, please, and let's get rid of the track, and we'll get rid of this little piece of track and that, and away we go. Because this whole thing, I don't really know what to do with this. I guess I have to move it, but for the moment, I'm just going to leave it be. So I'm just going to delete the tracks um, and move this. Some people wanted to see me do this, like actually play around with it. So I guess you're getting your wish, um, and, uh, and see my thought process on this. I don't want that track either. Just get rid of that. Cannot delete. I don't want to delete the component reference. Um, I want to get rid of the little tracks, the little pieces. And we'll just move this, just to get this out of the way. It's just out of the way now. Not entirely sure I need this via, so let's just move this stitch out of the way, and let's just move this stitch out of the way. If I need them later, they're over there. I'll go get them and use them somewhere else. That's another nice thing about this is you can just move it and you know. All right, so now this is, what is this doing here? See, this is that's one of those weird things. Like, what is this doing? Um, and why is this here? I don't understand what's going on there at all. That's just interesting. Oh, well, these are all wrong. So we need to get this, this, and this gone, as well as this, 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 this. Uh, I think it's that one, yeah. Um, and there you go. So these are still connected to the same net. So we need to get rid of the via. We need to get rid of this via and the marker. Get rid of that marker, that little piece of track, because they're still connected to the original net. That's the problem with that. So we got to get rid of the via and that, and we'll get rid of that marker. And you see, now we don't have any. Let's get rid of that via as well. We don't have anything trying to go over here anymore. Although I'm not entirely sure what this is. What is that doing? I'm really not too sure what's going on there. Um, and I've seen this sort of an anomaly before. So if I go ahead and grab this, it doesn't want to really go there. It wants to go over there. It's the air wire is sort of, you know, acting strangely. So there's a marker there still. How come I can't get rid of the marker? See, it's actually misbehaving now. Because the marker's there and then I get rid of it and yeah, see, it's actually misbehaving. I've had this happen. So when I've had this happen, I usually just save it, close it, back over here, and run PCB new again. And as you can see, it's it's behaving now. So if I come over here, I'm not having phantom markers anymore. And I don't know why what I do to cause that to happen. It's obviously some kind of a bug. Um, and it's mildly annoying, but it isn't an insurmountable thing. This needs to go away, incidentally, um, because that just shouldn't be there. So we'll get that gone. That should be this. Because I'm just thinking of it as a key, or I may just make it another ground. It never hurts to have another ground path up this. I just might do that. So in that case, we'll just re-extract the netlist again and come over here to PCB new, import the netlist, get the errors on U3 again, because you see now the references are gone. And then we have all these things that I need to work out the designators for and move on. And I think that all I need to do to fix that is like when this one keeps coming up, it says it reset. So I think all I need to do to fix that is just call that reset one like it is in the schematic. And you can't really see it in there. Um, and I think if I did that for all the ones that gave me trouble, um, like I'm pretty sure the display is also the same thing. I'm not sure. When I annotate it, it puts a 1 on the end of it. And so I'm pretty sure if I do that now, and I think it's done the same for the JTAG connector. So if I just whack a 1 onto the end of it, I think that fixes the problem. So if well, at least for the ones that I've corrected. So if I read the netlist again, I think now, see, I don't have these footprints, these extra footprints. See, I have an RF one and a power one. So I think that's what it is, and I need to figure out. I don't want it to say RF1 output 1, but when I use the annotation, it stuffs a 1 on the end of it. So I'm not sure if it's just a matter of um, manually annotating the components, which I believe is the way to fix that particular issue, instead of coming over here to the schematic and then saying when I want to annotate the components, if I just tell it to annotate um, and let it do it by itself, or if I just come over here, I don't want to do that, and I just say, okay, the value of this reference is just going to be, uh, buttons, and move on. Um, and not put a 1 on it. But if I add parts to it and then I just go, okay, well, annotate it and just give it whatever the next available designator is, then it just goes and whacks a 1 onto everything. So if I come over here and whatever I named on the board for that one, which I'm pretty sure is just, nope, that's not it. RF output. And if I just take that, okay, and I come over here and I change that and I just call that RF output. And then I export that netlist. I think it's quite happy. Oh no, because it says this is kind of the problem. Um, I want to keep the existing annotation. Um, yeah, use first free, but I don't want to do this. But I don't think I can export the netlist. No. Yeah, see, it won't let me just leave it however I want it. So I go annotate, and what it's done is it's changed that again, and it's whacked these 1s in the end of the things. So I'm not really too sure how to overcome that. That's been driving me somewhat crazy. Of course, I read the net list and, well, what do I have down here at the bottom? But yet more parts that are already here. So I don't get it. That's kind of a thing that I'm not really too. I don't understand why it absolutely must have a damn number on the end of whatever I annotate it as. Whatever I annotate it as should be whatever I want. If I want to call it Huffalump, I should be able to call it connector Huffalump, but it won't let me. And I'm sure there's a reason for it. It's just sort of, annoying me. So anyway, that's all, nice and freed and cleared up, and I can, bring this out and, leave it here. That's fine. Um, it's going to have to be a VIA to bring that out. But so I leave this SPI for this connector. Use this SPI for the card connector. Another curious case, of course, is bringing something like, which I don't know why it's not. Oh, it's because this pad has changed. Why it's not allowing me to uh that's what I mean. I don't want it to change it, but it's being somewhat annoying. If I wanted to, for the sake of argument, just sort of bring this down here. I know this is just quick and dirty. I'm just fooling with it at this point. That's actually too close for my liking, but um, to do that so that I can bring power into that card edge. Um, but yeah, that's my take, guys. It's my little KiCAD gripes and issues that I occasionally run into. Of course, an update on this. I need to just, of course, keep working on this. Um, sort this whole thing out. I was thinking I'm gonna put a pin header over here and bring these just ADCs out to a pin header, just like this. And if I do something, I do something with it. If I don't, I don't. Um, because I was thinking about S meters. As crazy as that sounds, but yes, S meters. Anyway, guys, so that's my rambly, waffly, show and tell-ish update. I'm gonna try something with the camera later. Um, we'll see. We'll see how the 4K video goes on the phone. Um, if it works good, great. If it doesn't, well, it's a phone camera. What more to expect? But if it works good, maybe I'll try to get a real 4K camera. Um, you know, something to make better video with. But I don't really have that whole elaborate of a setup. I'm not like a videographer or anything like that. I don't know a whole lot about video. I just kind of put a camera at it and record, and that's basically me. So anyway, guys, till next time, take care of yourselves and catch you later.